Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Scott from Get Off the Couch Designs. Just got this new Harvey Woodworking 110-S 52-inch table saw, or cabinet saw. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it all together and take you through the steps. I don't know if this is a good idea. Whoa. Work. It was a bit scary getting it down off the pallet, but thankfully I had this rolling base to get it into place. Alright, so I'm looking for the handle for the crank wheel there. This is one of the boxes that was inside the saw, so I'm guessing it might be. Some monster wrenches here. Oh, and there she blows. Alright, put a stack of sustainers here on some little risers there to see if we make this a little bit easier. We're still a little off, but this, thankfully, I put it on the right side first. At this point, the sustainers are not doing anything but getting in the way. Quite the workout there. These to get everything all parallel. Right here, I'm just clamping a 4-foot level to the cast iron top. This way, it'll ensure everything's nice and flat. I got 4 clamps on it. I'm putting 2 close to the joint here, and then 1 at the furthest lengths that I can. This really helped keep everything tight when I screwed it all together, and once I was done with the back, I moved to the front and did the same thing. The smaller wing was a bit easier to get on. I didn't have to use any sustainers or anything, but once I had the screws out, I just lined everything up, held it with my leg in place, and then got the screws started. Once they were started, I was able to clamp everything with the levels and get everything nice and tight. Alright, these rails are all one piece and they are not light. So what I did was I placed one end on some styrofoam, got the other end started. Once that was started, I lifted it up and pivoted on the first screw and got the next one tightened. One thing I will mention with the front rail is to push it up as high as possible when you tighten it, because you're going to want it up high so the fence comes in nice contact with it. We'll talk about that later. The back is pretty self-explanatory though. The holes are not slotted. If I'm being honest, this is my first try at tightening these bolts before I knew it had to be all raised up after I went back and raised everything up. With the rails on and secured, we grabbed the fence and put that on. Probably should have cleared off the table before I went and grabbed it, but I was too excited. Well, as you can see with one person, this was a bit tricky. So if you have an extra person, another set of hands would be nice. But in order to get these wings on, I put some bolts on either side, then did the connection to the cast iron. Here, I was actually trying to connect the two of them together to see if that would be easier. It was not. I would do the small one first, then the large one, and they will connect and look just like that. I actually went out and got some extra bolt setups because you only need to connect it in the center, but I got some extra bolt setups to connect it on either side to each other and to the cast iron as well. Alright, now I'm just going to add on the Now for the dust collection, when you're connecting it, the brackets go on the bottom of the back rail, and then it's pretty easy to connect. I used some clamps to hold it in place while I got it connected, and that made it a lot easier. One clamp definitely doesn't do it, as you can see, so you might want to use two. Alright, so I'm adding this tape now. It is not secured. I just took my fence, pushed it right up against the blade. Took the high, got the fence right up against the blade. There's a high and a low mark. Put the 0 under the high. Came over here with a pencil, made a mark. So I'd used the pencil to mark at the 0 line and one other line just so I had some reference points, and then went ahead and just stuck it all down. So here I'm adding the fence and then adjusting the set screws. There's 4 of them, and they help adjust how the fence rides along the rail. You can play with them and adjust them how you like. Alright, installing the blade to get the throat plate off. It's got a little Allen screw here. Pop that out, maybe. And your throat plate will come right off. Then your arbor nut. The ring goes inside. And then your arbor. So the reason I wanted to take this out is because when you get the saw, it comes with these set screws in here. They are screwed into here. This is for a European style saw. So if you don't have European blades, then you're not going to want to use this. You can see the blade that comes with the saw has holes for these. It'll line up, and these can sit in here. So what I did is I just took one of the Allen keys and popped these loose and took them out, and then I'm just going to keep them somewhere safe for if I ever do want to use them. And it's completely fine to put it on without them. One thing you do want to make sure is when you tighten this nut, you want this ring to go inside of here. It should fit right inside there, and that way it keeps everything nice and snug. So I'm going to go ahead and put that all back together. And you can make sure your throat plate is either level or just under your cast iron, and there's some 4 set screws here to adjust how it sits. Then lastly, you can have it comes with just a riving knife or the overarm dust collection. I'm going to give the overarm dust collection a try. I'm usually not a fan, and I may end up taking it off, but I wanted to get it all set up. So in order to install it, you just take this pin here, pull it back, and set it in. Pin should pop back in. Give it a little pull up to make sure it's nice and secure. We'll go ahead and connect to the dust collection. And we are ready to run. I was going to fast forward through this part, but it's kind of cool to see how long it takes for the blade to slow down too. Nice clean cuts. Little tear out there. Could be the blade or whatever.